That was really bizarre. Like a power surge stream kick in. That's what it's like being a streamer and not a video maker. Yeah, I gotta load 3 hours of cloud data. We lost all our data from this morning as well. Yeah, I gotta restore some stuff here. I got like lost a whole bunch of data and information. So they've got real time.
Or is choppy. Please read over our support page.
They got some weird shit going on. We'll see if that comes back or not.
Comes Fed's George now saying that balance sheet
They got booted off
is influencing the shape of the yield curve. It's appropriate to expeditiously raise rates to neutral. Soft landing is possible, but not guaranteed, says George.
I had a
balance sheet size needs to decline significantly, says George. Says she favors a steady and deliberate approach in the rate path. Rolling off Fed assets holdings could help steepen the curve, says George. More restrictive policy may be needed to cool prices. George saying if inflation is still high when they reach a neutral funds rate, more hikes will be needed. George saying that the Fed can take stock of the outlook once they reach a neutral rate. Again, saying that if inflation remains high when they're neutral, more hikes will be needed.
I'm getting cut off by Charlie over here. Looks like all those Condor and butterfly buyers are making money today, huh? Yeah, I'm getting hacked. I was getting yeah, I took off yesterday's I turned off yesterday's stream because I want to tone down the number of people that request to do the $1,000 trade, so I deleted it. I was a close personal confidant said that I should
Just a reminder, Fed George is an FOMC voter this year and is considered hawkish.
I was a close confidant said you should probably delete that video from yesterday because you don't want too many people going back to it and trying to request to get into the trade. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, there's enough people. We have enough people in that trade, so so just grinding over here, right? Just intraday kill trading. This is just killing the SPY today. You're kind of seeing a lot of that in the market. I was looking at some other. Well, am I looking on the wrong side here? I was checking out some of the tickers that were green today. Santa, CrowdStrike already blasted up, but I was checking that on the stock screener. Now you can go through and check them all and see if any of them look like they'll work for you. See if I can check another stock screener that I have. I've got a few of them that I use. Here's another good one that I use right here. This is some of you have used this one. So this FinViz screener rate, 20-day simple moving average price above SMA, float short over 5%, 50-day simple moving average price above SMA, 200-day simple moving average price above SMA, average volume over 5,000, IPO date in the last three years. What I like about this one here is that they've IPO'd in the past 3 years. They're a growth company. You hear about the bitching all the time on social media that they don't produce anything, these companies. Some of them have sales growth quarter over quarter you can use. This is over 30% quarter over quarter. I always recommend when you use this screener to do the due diligence on it. And change from open is up, right? And I usually get a few tickers in here. Datadog is on this one right now. Net is on this one right now. Nari is on this one. Check is on this one. Bros is on this one. LFG is on this one, and then BLDE is on this one. What I like about this specifically is, I don't always find exactly one on this, but if you go back and do your due diligence in these companies, we'll look at a few of these right now as well for some differences. You guys are always trying to catch. Knives, and I'm not really always interested in catching knives. Matter of fact, it's a nice rollover here. But what I'm really looking for is, this one might have already traded out, but even so, I'm looking for these dip buys down here, and for them, instead of catching knives, saying they're actually going up right now. I always want to see that on a ticker that's going up rather than catching this nonsense down here and catching the wrong knife. If you're buying a dip while it's moving up, you can usually catch a decent dip for an intraday or a 2-day or 3-day play here. This one's looking a little exhausted or getting close to exhausted. There's going to be some resistance above right where we are in Datadog. So I typically have to go through a few of them to find one that's working. Currently, you can see Net's already kind of overextended here as well. So Net was on that list. And we'll look at Nari next. And I'll usually take a quick look at some of these companies and look for support and a trend. I actually like this right here. I like Nari here. I like the fact that the dips keep being bought on Nari, and then they keep getting sold above. So you can set some alerts up here, so that if we ever come back down and touch down below here, you'll get an alert. So this one right here, I'd be looking for adding an alert at 77.22, anything below it. And if it does bounce below down here, I'll take a peek at it and see if I can buy it for another rip higher. Same thing for selling the rips. If you're a bear, this would be a great place to be above here. It'd be a great place to start thinking about a short down. I also like the idea that this one's been consolidating. I like seeing a move like this. Hold on here. Come back. I like seeing this right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then 6. That's a really nice run for Nari. So keep that one on your list. I like that one for buying and selling. CHK, Chesapeake Energy. This one looks like it's already played out, doesn't it? Kind of missed this one. This is a beautiful one down here at 48. Just kept trending higher. Traded all the way up to $90. So I probably wouldn't be interested in CHK. We'll look at BROS. But I'll track these. I'll track these over time here. And we've got Dutch Brothers over here. I like this one a lot too. I like this one a lot. This one's trading higher in the day too. Blasting higher, right? One down, pushed up. But I'm probably going to be looking for something down in here for a grab. This might actually trade nicely today. I'm really looking for some failures on this as well. Right there. Looking for another failure above. Oh. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. I like all this pushing that's going on, right? You guys are always trying to catch this stuff over here. You guys are always like, hey, Cap, can you look at this stock as it's going like this all the way down? And meanwhile, you should be grabbing stocks that are heading up, right? You got another move up here. So we're trying to buy dips on the way up. You can see it's trending up right now. So I like Brothers as well. Look at another one over here, LFG. Some looks like it's already made its move, but I'd be interested in this. $13 already at 22. I like the push. I would always do due diligence on this as well. What's good about this? Let's take a look at this one, right? So do some due diligence on these companies. Find out why it's moving higher. See how it's consistently going up. LFG this could have another year left to it going up. It started at $9. It's only at 22. This could go to $40, believe it or not. So find out what's going on with this company. Why is it being pushed by banks? Right? It's only $22. You throw $100 at it and let it run. I wouldn't buy it here at $22, but if it comes back down and does any dipping below here, around like $20 flat or so, you could pick this ticker up on a market down day or week. Keep an eye on this one. This is a good one. I like this one because it just keeps going up. And then we'll look at Blade, BLD.
Russian Central Bank is noting the Moscow Exchange will trade shares for full day on Thursday.
Blade Air Mobility. Let's take a look at this one over the course of a year. I like this one too, right? I really like seeing stuff like this over time. You've got another, it looks like buy the dippers are here. And here. All right, trades down, up, push for profit, up, push for profit. Was way back down to $5. Now it's making its way back higher here. Looks like it's breaking through some resistance above. Might have some sellers hiding just above at 910, and then you might have you'd have some consolidation. And then the next move up would be somewhere in here. Somewhere in here, some pissed off. 933. Some pissed off bag holders up in here. Somewhere in there. But I do like this. I like set an alert down here. If it ever comes back down here, create an alert at 638. Above. And this one right here, create an alert. Below. Another great ticker to buy. Buy and hold and sell. 100% profit in each one of these trades. 1, 2, 3, and they're looking to take some profit, probably up around $10. Probably in long since $5 or $6 for this next leg up on Blade. So this stock screen I'll show it to you one more time. And these are identifying companies that are moving up and are have had great sales growth over quarter. I usually do one last test on these, and I just check their last guidance on their last ER report and see what they're projecting for the next 3 months or the rest of the year. See what they're expecting, and if they've got great fundamentals, you can even check their PE as well, their forward PEs. You could add that to it as well if they're trading higher than their PE or not. And these are some great companies you can seek out. Yeah, I don't ever recommend these companies unless you look into them. So you have to look into them. You have to do your due diligence on these companies. Russian Central Bank is saying that the Moscow Exchange will trade shares for a full day until 1850 local time on Thursday. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna open up RSX to the U.S. or have they yet? I haven't checked recently. See if they're gonna open up their exchange here in the U.S. We still have this support line down below at 458. Now this hidden ice down below, you can kind of see it here. And so it's starting to show up right down here. There's some more down here at 457 of buyers. If we break 457 at any point, you should see a run lower to this 455. And this is what we projected, right? This is the outer trading range for the day. 455 on the SPY. So we'll keep our minds open to that trade happening as the day wears on. I'll be back. Is it throttled to 720p? Willie, are you seeing this broadcast only in 720p, or can you not change it? Are you saying the broadcast is coming in at 720p? Have you checked if it's just your broadcast? It should be at 1080p, 60 frames per second. .720p is the max on settings right now. That's not good. It says 720p, 60 frames per second. Yeah, I might be having internet problems on my end. I got kicked off. I had a power surge at my house, and my power flicked on and off. I'm assuming that my internet kicked off as well. So I'm wondering if I'm having problems on my internet side of things, because I broadcast in 1080p, 60 frames per second. Let me take a look and see. Yeah, let me take a look. It must be this probably on my end. Hold on here. Yeah, on my end, I'm streaming at 1080p, so that means that I'm having problems with my internet on my end. Yeah, I run it all. It always runs at 1080p. I just had a power surge at my house, so I'm wondering if it has something to do with now the internet's fucked up for the day or something. Yeah, and I'm normally at 1080p, so there's definitely something happening on my end. If you want, I can shut it down and restart it again. Would you prefer that I do that? I can shut the stream down, restart it one more time. Or we'll just let the stream run today at 720, and I'll call my ISP and what I'll do is I will check with my internet stream provider, my ISP today, and see what took place. I'll give them a call and find out what happened. I shouldn't be at 720p, so if I'm streaming right now at 720p, something's going on with my internet. Yeah, I've had that happen. I had no, I know. So on my end here, when I monitor it on another computer, I get it at 1080, 60 frames per second. So I know definitely downstream it comes in at 1080. So if it's only at 720 on your end, it could be Yeah, it always streams at 1080 on my end. So I'll take a look and I'll take a look. I could have, you know what else could have happened, was that when I had to reset this, OBS up 3 times. I could have even fucked with the settings myself down to 720. And if I did, if it's something that I'm throttling on my end, I'll take a look at it today once the stream is over. But I typically stream at 1080p. I have no issues. I've got fiber here at my house now, so I should have no issues streaming at 1080p. Yeah, it could be me. It's either my internet service provider or it's some setting that I fucked with and that I was messing around with. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going back to the work that I was doing. You guys can see that Spy is not doing anything right now, right? Just side to side, no movements, absolutely nothing. If anything is happening right now, it's selling for profit on big tickers, right? Lots of put buying coming into the market, and they're just burning. Any calls, or excuse me, any puts coming in the market are just getting burnt right now, torched. I'm going to assume that people don't understand what's going on in the market. I'm going to assume that people don't understand what's going on. But that's okay. That's what it is.
Fed's Georgetown Q&A saying Fed policy will have to be decisive and deliberate. Fed's George saying the U.S. economy is operating in a strong fashion. That's George putting the neutral rate at around 2.5% as a starting point. As George saying, asset valuations have been elevated. As George saying, commercial real estate is something she is watching.
Looks like you're trying to make this move down and touch this 458 that everybody's been looking for all day long today. Let's see if we can get down here. This range of volatility, well, buyers at least, right? Buyers, sellers, looking for a dip to buy. Bulls are definitely looking for a dip to buy somewhere down here. This 458 zone looks nice, and then there's some more real money down below here at 456. Still not seeing any pricing in in the market of a dip lower than 455. See some buyers down here at 456. Yeah, buyers waiting down below here. Still not seeing much movement in the SPY currently. Trading slightly sideways and down over time. We have this little bump down below. We know about R1 above. This is resistance support currently. It's not this line right here. This is where I was looking at. I added this in, or excuse me. Added this, or excuse me, this was R1 right here, 457.50. Right here, this line right here, I had thrown in there for a support line that was on Bookmap. But we're still looking for some support buys down here, S1, S2, see if we can get down here, a dip down here, but until that happens, I haven't been in a trade today. I was asked that earlier. I'm not willing to get put into this meat grinder of theta and theta burn. If we do trade down here today, S1, S2, I might grab a long here. If I can't grab it here, I'll be waiting for tomorrow as well. And I'll give this until Friday to see if we can catch some kind of a dip down here, because I am anticipating a move higher into the 31st expiry. I might miss it too. That's the thing. Buyers can step in at any time. I don't think that sellers can push this market, roll this market over at this point in its process. So if you are taking shorts here, keep them short. Keep them for very small moments. Don't be trying to hold them, diamond hand them, because this is a meat grinder for bears and bulls right here. Full on meat grinder. And this does look like it could roll right here. There you can see that the number of buyers, there's more sellers now above, and the buyers are way up here. They're already in. They get kind of getting ground up. But I'm not seeing anything serious to be looking at here. I might take a gander at like 458. If we get down to 458, like down here, maybe I might take a shot at it. There's some buyers stepping in down here at like 458.70. Still some weight down here for serious buying down below. If this firms up at all, I'll think about taking a trade. But I haven't been in a trade all day long today. I feel like I get ground up in these days. Like I try to pick something up and then it snaps back too quick, or I'm scalping for like 10%. So I'm not really interested in this right now. That's that same area right down in there. You can see it right there, clear as day. 458. They're just waiting for it. There's some buyers in here. If you are bearish here, look for reaction at 458. Keep that on your radar. That's that little zone right down there. And I'll be back. So my thoughts on UVXY. This is the VIX. This is UVXY. You can see the VIX trading sideways today, and there's a ton of gamma on the market, call gamma, and what that does is what it's doing is it's got like a grab hold. I'm trying to make this simple for you. It's limiting volatility in the market. All these calls that are on the market that don't roll off until Friday. And so it's not allowing the market to move down. It's not allowing expansion on the market. So you're going to need to see massive put buying that could outweigh those calls. We looked at a dot plot earlier in the week that just showed the concentration of calls above between 460 and 470. And until those calls roll off and they don't get replaced or we don't add to those calls, we're not going to roll the market over. And we're not going to go higher either. So you're going to see that same constriction of the VIX. If you wanted to just be like, hey, Cap, should I buy the VIX? It gets more, I guess you could buy the actual VIX. Maybe you're going to buy calls or something like that. You have to, can you wait for 3 to 4 days of not knowing that we're not going to add calls to the market, or we're not going to rotate in other stocks in the market, or trade, or slowly melt up in the market? Like, you can't answer those questions right now. So just by buying the VIX today is a risky proposition, because you're gonna kill the intrinsic value in any calls that you have on the VIX over the next 2 or 3 days. So I think this is the time when you get ground up. This is in the VIX and in the regular market, and there's no definitive direction in the market yet. You could get a move either way at some point, and you don't have to catch the entire move. So if you're looking to buy the VIX or even sell the VIX, there's no real answer to that currently at the moment. The VIX is pinned right now.
French foreign ministers say negotiations between Russia and Ukraine have not advanced.
The VIX is being pinned right now because of the number of calls in the market. And you won't see a move higher unless you see calls coming in for like 4,800, 4,750 in mass, or you see a waterfall of hedging and puts. The original puts that came in, those are dated for May, right? They're down the road. If you guys want to remember too, when we were trading down and heavy and hard, we were seeing hedging coming in that was 2 weeks out, 1 week out. We saw hedging coming in that was very quick or very very close. And millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars come in. When you don't see that flow coming in right now with the number of calls in the market, that's what my talk this morning was about. I think it was TradyTix put out a post last night about all the puts that came in the market, and they're irrelevant. They mean nothing. They have no context in this market right now. And as a matter of fact, there's no impact from them until over time, if we don't add calls to the market, they all bleed off. Or if they all bleed off and we're just buying 0 dates and 3 dates, calls in the market that are in the money, you could still prop this market up for another week or 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks into May. So without context, those puts that were put into the market, those hedges for out in May, really don't impact the market right now. They're just sitting there as a safety net, as an actual hedge in case that moment happens. So yeah, I guess if you wanted to buy some VIX 2 months out, 3 months out, sure, you could buy some calls. I guess 2 or 3 months. I don't know when the expiration is, but you get my point, right? There's nothing you can really do right now. If you're in VIX right now, you're pinned, and there's nothing you can do unless there's some headline news, like major impactful news, or you have some massive call buying, you get fucked, right? And if you had massive put buying, that they would print. But we're not seeing that in the market right now, and you have to understand these calls are still in the market. There's still a strangle out there on the market until Friday, and they're more than likely going to ensure that those print on Friday. So I don't see any movement in either direction today, tomorrow, or even Friday, unless some major moves come into the market that we haven't seen yet. And all that information is available. You can watch the options flow come in. You can watch real money selling in real time. You can watch hedging come in. Prop desk throwing puts on top of hedge flow. We just haven't seen that yet in this market. This looks more like institutions taking profit off the table for the move higher. That takes time. This also looks like while they're doing that, they're looking at their basket of pinned stocks and rotating into those stocks. There's some rotation into commodities and metals as well going on. So this can take time. This process can take 7 days. It can take 3 weeks. So to just be like gunning, saying we're going to roll this bitch over or this market over, doom and gloom, shit that you hear on Twitter, inverted yield curves, like anything I'm hearing out there, I'm just like, I don't want to hear it because the actual internals of the market are disagreeing with that. This complete roll off. We shouldn't be down here at $18.68. All the bullshit about I don't know. I heard yesterday everything being talked about the VXX shit that went on. We knew about that. We even talked about it here in the stream before it happened, the day before. So it's not like we didn't know it was going to happen. The VIX fiasco. I thought that was kind of funny too. So it's not like it was unknown or anything. Anyway, as a matter of fact, the day it happened, people were like, "What's going on in the market?" And I think I was like, "How do these people not know what's happening?" I think even Spot Gamma brought it up before it took place. So it's not like people didn't know it was going to happen. And then they're trying to tie that into where we are right now, and it's just tied to Gamma right now. The market's trading sideways because Gamma is on the market. Call Gamma is in the market right now. It's very similar to when we traded down to we'll look right here. So both times when we traded down to these levels down below, this is the exact same thing, just inverse. So when we were down here, right? Hold on. We're in the same position as we are right here is the same position we were down here. So we have these moments down in the market where there was a ton of puts down here, right? Hold on here. Let me hold on here for a second. Use a better example. Sometimes I'm too tired to talk about this stuff, but I'm not too tired right now. So this is on the inverse if you're a bear, okay? So we've got a ton of puts get taken out. Let's say some puts get taken out. Let's say how it starts. You start out with some puts. You buy some puts down here. Let's just theoretically say about some puts at 430, okay? We're not going to print these puts at 430. Now, if another group comes in and they buy puts at 410, let's say, right? We'll actually start trading down to the 430 at that point. And then if more people start buying puts down here at 390 or so, right, there's a chance that we continue to, and this is, I'm simplifying this. We can trade down to this level here, right? Now, another problem is as we're making these lower lows, you need more bag buyers. You need someone to come in when we're down here at 420 and they start buying. There's already some 390s down here, let's say, right? We need more people to buy 390s to buy these people's bags, right? so that we can start to continue to trade lower and lower and lower. And I don't know if I'm mixing or mumbo jumboing this for you, but let me explain it on the upside here. So right now, there's some initial calls that were placed for 46.50s, and there's some 47.50s. There's some calls up here, right? And these are called bag holders. So these are people that bought a bunch of calls that they want to see print up here, right? And how do we get up here? We need a second round of call buyers to come in and be like, yeah, we're going to 470, we're going to 480. So they come up here and they start buying calls up here, right? And as we start, no, excuse me, I'm mixing this up here. So got a bunch of call holders up in here. What we really need is people to be buying like 475 to 485. So they step in, right? And as we trade up here to this next level, these original call holders, they cash out, they take their money and run. And this next group here is saying, oh my God, are we ever getting a 480 or not? And if we don't get another round of call buyers to step in and buy 480s, then these bag holders will never be able to cash out of their calls, right? So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for like that next round of call buyers to step in so that we can keep making legs up, right? Now, let's say none of these call holders step in, right? None of these new groups step in from this last group right here, right? And these people over here, they never materialize, right? What you're looking at is a bunch of bag holders, and they're sitting up here waiting to get their calls printed up higher.
President Biden saying the U.S. will not be able to sustain COVID testing beyond June without more funding from Congress.
Now, their calls are starting to expire. Not all of them, but there's a good, 50% of them are going to expire on Friday. And that's what's pinning the market right now, okay? Now, the moment that these calls expire, right, the other 50% are still out there, but this 50% pulls the gem off, and it allows an expansion for us to trade lower, to explore lower prices. Until this is off, we can't even begin to start trading lower because these calls are still open over here. If these calls are starting to be closed right now, you might see some weakness in the market. But currently, right now, we're waiting for a bit in the market to take us higher, right? Or waiting for these calls to expire or be closed, for the pin to come off for us to begin to trade lower here and explore these depths. Now, we know we've got some puts down here, right? And we've got some other puts down below. I think it's at like 440 and 430. But we still need people as we roll over to come down here and start to want to buy lower lows or lower puts for these bag holders down here to get their bags filled, right? And then turn you into, that's the whole thing when you hear on social media, they're like, if you have a bag, right? And I bought down here when it was empty and I filled it up, and then Bobby B filled it up and Mikey G filled it up. They have to convince you that there's more room at the top for you to fill. And if not enough people believe that there's enough room up here, right, you're the one stuck holding the bag at that point. Make sense? But if enough people believe that it can be filled, you'll find more buyers come in and you'll be able to fill up your bags. And then you have to convince the next person, and eventually somebody gets held or gets stuck holding the bag. I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you out there or not. I'm trying to simplify things. I don't know if that does simplify things. It might not. Mute on my mic. So that's my point on the VIX, right? So the VIX is pinned right now. Well, that's another good question too. So that's another good question too. So some people will buy outside the money calls and they don't need to fill their bag. So some people will say, well, you didn't get a print on that. And I'm like, yeah, but it went up 100%, right? So some outside the money call buyers can you ever hear about the gamma effect on markets? You'll see it sometimes on Tesla. You'll see like a gamble. They call you a gambling trader. What you're doing is you're coming in and you're trying to fill those bags above you by placing outside the money calls. But you'll see that gamma effect come into the market and leave the market, come in the market and leave the market. You'll see like outside the money call buyers will jump in for a swing move, right, while the market's pumping, and then they'll close all those calls. If they're closing those calls that are outside the money at that moment, you'll see that upward thrust, right, flip right back over and dump down hard and heavy. You notice it with SoftBank has been known to do that in the past as well. So there are some other effects and impacts of outside the money call buying that you see. You saw it rampant in 2020 and 2021, but you just don't see it as much as you used to right now. So we're waiting for the market to make a decision right now is the point that I'm trying to make. You've got open calls above by institutions. We don't know if they're going to continue to buy calls higher or not. We know that retail didn't get involved in this trade until recently, the past 3 or 4 days. So this is all being pinned by by institutions. And there are some bigger trades in the market, some strangles in the market that are pinning it up here to take profit as we head into expiry on Friday. So that's my point behind, I don't know why everybody's buying puts right now. I think it's just dumb retail traders that are listening to too much shit on Twitter. They don't understand the larger mechanics going on in the market right now. Unless there's some headline news, unless you had some like really horrible news or some really great news coming into the market, you shouldn't see much movement in the next, at least today. You might see more movement down tomorrow and then more severe on Friday. And then Monday would be the big day if you don't see calls come in. And meanwhile, while the market's being pimped up and propped up, you can see some smaller baskets from hedge funds and institutions being pumped for profit over the course of these next few days. So when people are trying to blame the VIX situation on the VIX problems we had a week or two ago, whatever the fuck it was, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with where the calls are in the market, where the puts are in the market, the fact that they're still open right now. Watching some calls come in on Sono, SONO, 1021 at 35C, $1.1 million. Calls coming in right now for IWM, right? June 17th, 220C, $2.1 million. So if you keep seeing shit like this, right, you're seeing that the banks aren't done yet with this market. IWM, $2.1 million, June 17th, 220C. Calls on UAL, May 20th, 46C high algo score. DocuSign, DOCU, June 17th, 105P, $1.5 million. Some other big calls on DAL. We've been seeing DAL all morning long coming up with calls since the beginning. We talked about DAL early this morning. More airline prints coming in, or not prints, but call options coming in. JetBlue, DAL, both May 20th. For DAL, it's 41C for $500,000. JetBlue, May 20th, 14C, $185,000. Love with a high algo score. You could probably be looking at Jets right now. We've got May 20th, 50C, $1.2 million. Love with more calls, another $100,000 call on Love currently. So we're seeing some bid in the airlines across the board. They've been seeing airlines all day long, actually. And I'm going to show you this real quick. Take a quick look at Jets. And boy, it looks like it's going to squeeze right now, right? You can see this beautiful little squeeze going on happening as we're talking right now. And you can see this nice consolidation phase right here. One, boom, dip below. We always love seeing that, right? Bam, bam, and then a squeeze higher. So we'll take a look right now on Jets. You might be able to get a decent squeeze off of this. You can kind of see this movement down below here. We'll take a look at Jets and see if that's going to produce anything with all this call action coming in. See if this pans out or not. So 2 days of sideways movement on Jets. Lots of call buying on Jets. Maybe the banks are interested in pumping the airlines. Give us a moment to load up here. See if we can get a price target on Jets. Jets sold off at $22. Now trading at $21.73. $22.06 is where it sold off prior to. See if these buyers are still down here at 458. You can see them still hiding down here. And Jet's still squeezing currently. Not much resistance here on Jets. Looks like they're fighting for a squeeze right now. Slightly more sellers than buyers. Keep your eyes on it. Some sellers up here at 22. $23.40, $23.50 is an interesting area. Wonder if it's being shorted right now. Same movement here in DAL. Same movement here on Love. Call buyers are stepping in. They're seeing this same pattern here. Similar on AAL or UAL. Same pattern on all the airlines right now. Just keep watching lots of airline calls coming in. BA as well. That's a big mover of Jets. They just squeezed higher. They just squeezed, 7 minutes ago. They got a squeeze, so it looks like the airlines are looking for a pump real quick. Keep your eyes on the airlines. You might get a quick squeeze. You might not see it as apparent in Jets. Sometimes it'll hit the individual airlines and not Jets. Jets sometimes is resistant to squeezing. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Hey, good boy. Hey, handsome. Still waiting to see if we can get this touchdown below here at 458. This is where I'm looking for down here. There's been a group of buyers waiting right here at 458 on the button, so we'll see if we can trade down here and grab a break, or if we break below and then continue down to S1 over here. This is S1 right here, S2, excuse me, down here at 455. I don't think we get down to 455, but I do think we stay somewhere around 458. But if we can get down here into the bell, I'll be happy as well.
Is not clear.
These are the buyers I'm looking for here. 458 flat. Hey, what's up? Thank you, though. Keep your eyes down below here. Hackers masquerading as law enforcement were able to get customer data from Meta and Apple. This impacts Facebook and Apple. Another note would be to look at the ETF called Hack, HACK, on that news that just came out. Hackers masquerading as law enforcement reportedly able to get customer data from Meta and Apple. Check out Apple, of course, Facebook, and then Hack, HACK. Another note, it's top of the hour, 2 p.m. We have market internals update. New York Stock Exchange NYSE volume at this moment is 389 million shares, 5% below its 3-month average. Decliners lead advancers 1.2 to 1, so not really a big rollover at the moment. Nasdaq volume 3.48 billion shares, 15% above its 3-month average. Decliners led advancers slightly higher, 1.4 to 1. The VIX index is now plus 2% at 1930. And of course, the related ticker is VIX. A couple other notes. President Biden, the U.S. will not be able to sustain COVID testing beyond June without congressional funding. This is interesting. This is from earlier this afternoon. This is the Fed's George. He is a voter. He's a hawk. It says it's appropriate to expeditiously raise rates to neutral. Balance sheet size needs to decline significantly. If inflation is still high at neutral funds rate, more hikes will be needed. Favors a steady and deliberate approach on late rate path. Soft landing for the economy is possible, but not assured. And he's a hawk, and this doesn't sound that hawkish. More restrictive policy may need to be needed to cool prices. So there is considerable uncertainty surrounding economic and policy outlook. Policy normalization path will likely be a long one. That's interesting to read because it's stating that the policy normalization path will likely be a long one. The Fed policy will have to be decisive and deliberate. U.S. economy is operating in a strong fashion. Puts neutral rate at around 2.5% as a starting point. The current inflation surge is different than what the Fed Chair Volcker faced in the 80s. Inflation surge is not embedded in the economy. And I think that sounds like transitory. That's like another word or another sentence for transitory. Mark that one down as new. Inflation surge is not embedded in the economy. Asset valuations have been elevated. Commercial real estate, something she is watching. For how hawkish this is, it's not that hawkish. It seems like they're saying they'll be nimble. This kind of fits that narrative of not a hammer. It fits the narrative of we're going to try to massage the economy for another 1.5 to 2 years, and if we fuck it up, then welcome to your welcome to your recession. It's hawkish, but it's not that hawkish, right? It's not like the hammer. And she's a hawk, so that was from earlier this afternoon at 12:30.
Or the Russian central bank saying they're going to allow stock short selling beginning on March 31st.
And that'll be fun. Oof. Watching lots of calls on MULN right now. They blasted off from $2 to $3 and $1.50. The puts that are coming in are April 14th, 3p for $100,000. Just prior to that, there were some calls that came in on MULN April 14th, 2.5c. Might be a nice shorting opportunity at some point up here. I don't know what the news is on this trade. Why it squeezed higher. It's a nice squeeze. $6 down to 50 cents. Huge squeeze higher here. Let's take a look at it and see if there's sellers right where we are. MULN. Looks like it comes back down at some point. MULN Automotive. The puts being bought to short it back down are April 14th, 3p. We'll see if it's the right time to short it or not. Could go higher. Could go all the way to $4, believe it or not. More buyers than sellers right now on MULN. Keep an eye on it. If it trades higher to $4 up here, if it breaks above 320, 347, $4 might make a nice short once it hits $4. Smashing and bashing around 310, 320. More sellers above at 350. I'm going to think this is the price target to $4. Just keep an eye on it. If it goes to $4, you can probably short it down and win that trade. It's already starting to roll over currently, but it can certainly squeeze higher. You don't want to get caught shorting this. $4 it looks like is the major. $350 and then $320. Somewhere in there. If it does continue to trade higher, it should roll at some point. More calls coming in on BA currently. BA just keeps cranking. BA just keeps blasting off. Had that first rip. Now blasting off to 196. Didn't I put a price target on it of 211 or 210? Thought I did. Yeah, 210 over here. BA still going up right now. We'll look at BA as well. And I've got an ultimate downward move for BA at some point in April, late April. Now trading at 196. I think we looked at this one yesterday. And it was asked if we would go to 210 or 212. It's already at 196. So we'll take a look at BA next. I gotta find out why hero indicator is down for me for a second time in a row. Clear skies right now on BA to 198. More buyers than sellers still. 200 natural resistance point. Lots of traffic in between 210, or excuse me, 200 and to 205, and then there's lots of traffic all up to 210. Now this is where my target is for it. Might be able to get to 212. I think I claimed 210, but I like 212 too. I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to adjust my price target. I had a price target at 210 here. It looks like there's more natural sellers above at 230. So I'm gonna adjust my price target here to 230. Man, I don't know if it can get up here. No, I'm gonna keep it the same. You know what I'll do is I'll write this here. And I'll write that Cap doesn't think it can get here. Cap doesn't think it can get here. All right, Captain doesn't believe. Hold on here. Save. We'll do it in like some kind of fucked up color. I'll do it. No, that's a shitty color. There we go. Cap doesn't think we can get there. I'll eat a shoe on air if it can. It's 2:30. I don't think it can get here. Wait a minute. Come on now. Shit. Okay, right there. 2:30. I don't think we can get there. I think we can get to 210. I think that's reasonable. But I don't think we can get there. I'm all doom and gloom on this ticker. This is where the market thinks it can go. Right there. I think it's going to stay on this track to 210, and then it's going to start fucking rolling. Some stupid bad news is going to come out. It's always like that. BA still climbing right now, blasting off 197.45. It can hit 198 easy. We'll look at Jets again. Jets still kind of cranking. It never does as well as, I mean, it's still pumping over here, but it never does as fucking well. Like BA, this is the fucked up part, is that BA is a large composition of Jets, and like if BA is not moving and all the other airlines are moving, you never really see Jets
For
blast
15 minutes
off.
or so to close the pitch rating in energy markets. WTI crude futures up 2.7% or $3 on the day at 107.25. Again, tomorrow we will see the OPEC Plus meeting.
So you can tell there's a heavy short on Jets right now, because if BA is moving like it is right now, Jets should be fucking up here, and it's not. So they must be shorting it right now. There has to be some heavy shorts on Jets. There just has to be. Nice push on American Airlines, though. American Airlines squeezed. UAL just squeezed. We called these just a few minutes ago, right? UAL just squeezed. Love just squeezed. DAL just squeezed a moment ago. All of these just squeezed up from 39.22 to 39.53. So all the airlines just gave a quick pop. BA kept popping. They had already started their squeeze. We missed the first start of that squeeze, but it's now trading higher, 196.93. They can easily get to 198. A little bit of a bounce on the SPY down here. Looks like they stepped in even. Looks like you got a couple buys down here at 458.40. They didn't quite get down to this 458. Slow day. More calls on BA currently. Call flow is rolling in on BA. We'll look at IWM and the Qs next. A little bit of a rollover on BA. There are some sellers at 198. Quinn's showing the market red right now. He's showing heat maps of everything down like 15%. Eric Hagar is on Twitter right now saying CNBC saying Apple is not overbought. So I'm not going to mention this person. They're saying that it's going to break down. SPY is going to break down. No, it's not. It's not. It's not going to break down that fast. It may break down slowly, but it's not going to be what you think it is, or at least not yet. Slow day at the office today. Let me see what everybody's saying on Twitter. Rate my new trading rig. I should put my camera back on. I need to take a video of my setup here. Because you guys can't see shit. You guys can see first off, I turned off my camera down from 1080p down to 720. The camera I did, not the stream. But I need to show you inverse Kramer. Yeah, I'll look at the Qs next. But I want you guys to see my rig because you guys can't see shit. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 screeners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got a bunch of mics set up, bunch of lights, light boxes and stuff. I got a big ass expensive camera that's not fucking working. But look at IWM real quick, and then we will we ain't seeing shit here either. This is a slow moving. There ain't shit going on in this market. I mean, look at IWM. Look at that. All kinds of support it's trying to eat through. These are all buyers in here, right? Just crazy watching that right there. These are all the sellers above, buyers below, just grinding lower. You'd need a break below 208 to see any kind of movement south. Maybe even 207. But until you see that kind of a break, you've got no black sky down below. For real downward movement, you really need to see a break. Can't get bearish here. Can't get bearish here until you break through all of this mess right here. These are all buyers here trying to consume. And that was part of the discussion this morning was, do new buyers step in? That's probably why CNBC is saying that. They're either looking for bag holders or they're looking to find out if banks are going to step back in for another round to go higher. So we'll find out down here if the market will cut itself loose. You're going to be looking for this number in the next few days. Something below 207.9 on IWM if you wanted to see some real damage done to, or a real fat dip done. We'll look at the Qs next. Let that load up. Still looking to see if those buyers step in down below on SPY. They're still waiting down here. They're just sitting down here at 458. They're just like, come to me so I can buy cheap. And you have these more buyers down to 256. You really would want to see a break below 456 or so, 455. It's kind of it right here, right? If you're going to get bearish, you want to see a break below 455, 456, a rug pull for real movement in the market. Other than that, it's just more rotation. More buyers and sellers changing hands right now. Someone handing a bag over to from one bull to another, saying, if you think it can go up from here, here you go. I'm going to take my winnings. And then more buyers down here looking to take it longer. Maybe there's SoftBank down there. We'll look at the Qs next. That's what it used to be in like 2020, 2021, right? We'd start selling down like this, and SoftBank would step in with like $200 million and buy some outside the money fucking calls. Like today, they'd be buying like 490s, 500s, like $100 million worth, expiring in 2 weeks. And we green bar up like 100 points, just face melt and rally. Yeah, and you can see right now the buyers. You can